Hello, so I would like to show you how I pack for Venice Glass Week and what sort of items I bring with me and how I can make sure my glass artworks are delivered on time in one piece without any damage and safely to the venue, and also transport them back to London. First of all, I have these crates and I have two of them, and I modified them in the past so it is easier to carry in Venice. Apart from that, there's lots of bubble wrap. These are the hinges that I use for modifying the box. And I also like documenting the process, and this time there's going to be a public talk on the 13th of September at a venue near the Peggy Guggenheim Museum, and that's going to be in a cultural center in a small cozy room. For that, I'm going to record the talk to keep it for the archives, but also to share it on social media if I prefer to. So I have this portable lightweight tripod. It's not the best quality, but it is lightweight. Because also it's not so precious, I don't worry about if it gets damaged or not, but it's a very easy expandable tripod. I can mount the phone on it, so that's what I'm probably going to use. For the recording, we are probably going to use an iPhone Pro. I'm recording this video with my Samsung Galaxy 23. The new iPhone's video capacity are, I would say, better, but also that phone has a higher memory than this phone, because this phone is now 3-4 years old. And then the other thing is I'm bringing the DJI gimbal, and that I'm also using now for recording. I bring also the charging cables and the converters and adapters. And this is the microphone set, so I'm using the DJI mic Mini. There's two in the set. They're wireless and it's very practical for remote audio. So I'm going to connect these microphones when we are recording the panel. They don't get in the way. It has noise cancelling, so it doesn't also pick up all the other sounds. Another important thing is business cards, because you're meeting a lot of people, networking, and people want to get your details. I don't always like to do the phone and trying to get internet connection, so the old school business cards with name, phone, and website. I bring some extra tape, so I'm going to buy a new roll of the clear tape, but also the paper packing tape, and then I'll also bring the fragile tape. These are all for the packing. Some extra drill bits. I'm not taking it with me, but when I'm modifying this box, I use them a lot and they get old quickly. So I'm going to have extra drill bits just for packing the piece, but I'm not going to take them with me. A pair of clean gloves for handling the artwork so I don't leave fingerprints on them. So a clear sleeve. The purpose of this is when I finish packing, I put all the customs documentation, the label for shipment on this. What I do is I go to Venice with my flight with the artworks in the hold, carry them through Venice. And sometimes, depending how big the artwork is, I use a carry-on bag and leave the crate empty, or I put them in the crate and they have removable wheels, so I roll them or carry them depending on what I need to do. But you have to be careful with the vibration. If it vibrates too much, it can shatter the glass. I usually try to carry with another person or put it on the carry-on if I'm carrying it alone. However, on the way back, the artwork has to return with a crate because I'm not going to be there until the end of the exhibition. The exhibition team will put all the paperwork that I prepared for them and put it on the sleeve and put it on the box. I'm going to show you how I pack the glass now. Lots of bubble wrap. These are pre-cut, and usually if they're in a good shape, I use them multiple times. But I have to be careful because my work has a lot of sand on the surface, and if I'm packing a different work, I have to make sure the sand doesn't stay on the bubble wrap because it will scratch the next piece. So first piece is going to be this, and I double the bubble wrap, double layer it. Put it here, a little bit at an angle, and you just firmly cover it. And I will use the tape. Don't be frugal on the bubble wrap. You need a lot, and you need like fresh ones most of the time. So this bubble wrap has only been used once, so I will use them maybe one more time. and then retire it. But I still keep some of it as a sort of a filler material if I need to support other pieces, and then use fresh ones for wrapping the piece. So we did the first layer, I'm going to do another one. Again, I use a double layer of a large piece. Make sure I protect the rim and the bottom of the piece as well. And I do a diagonal this time. And I secure the bubble wrap as I increase my layers of folding. This way it doesn't move around and it stays where it needs to. And I try not to leave too many air gaps. What I also bring to this exhibition is a microfiber cloth, because when I set up my fingers or the oils from your skin touches time to time, or they could be dust, so it's good to just freshen up the piece before you exhibit on the plinth. So this is end of one piece, and now I'm going to do the second piece. This is not big enough. This is a big one. So I'm going to use a big square like this because the piece is about 30 centimeters. This is the piece. And before I packed them, I also checked how much their weight is with a kitchen scale. This kitchen scale is, I think, about 6 to 7 kilograms. And these pieces are under 5 kilograms, so I am able to read it. But if I have a heavier piece, then I'll use a different kitchen scale. I also weigh the box empty. That way I know approximately what will be the final weight of the combined packed box. But I will also do it at the end one more time, because then I have the correct dimensions of the boxes, the weight and everything. This one I will first do a inner filler. Inside is also supported. Now lie it down. And I have stickers under each piece so that people can identify they're mine. You can also do a laser etching or use a Dremel to sign it. That's a complete preference, up to you. I prefer stickers. Make sure there's no dust, no dog hair, because Floki is in the studio most of the time. What I would do is, the rim is the most fragile part of this piece. So what I'm going to do is layer 2 large squares and cover that rim side. Turn the angle. And you don't want tape to come off, so it's important to use generous amount of good quality tape. And one more here. Some people use also Peli cases and foam inserts, but what I heard is Peli cases have a valve, and during the airtime on a flight, it can decompress, so you have to make sure that valve is adjusted correctly, because otherwise it will be like compressing the piece and it can break the glass. So these two are ready, making sure that they don't roll off. Or maybe I'll just try the other one. Okay, let's try the crate first. So here comes the crate. Create also has these inside, and I have more of these, and this is the packing and address instructions of a previous artwork I shipped. So I'm gonna see if that big vase fits here and I can put this there. If not, I'm just gonna do this in a short car ride, and then they will be arriving home safely. Also put in the little card in there as well in case people need to figure out whose box is this, because in exhibitions there's lots of boxes and they get mixed up. If the label goes missing, I'm going to put a fragile label and more information on the box later. So now when I get this box made for the first time, it didn't have the hinges. It was a screw-on box. The airport, they wanted to open it before we checked it to the flight. The problem is you're not allowed to bring a screwdriver to airport. It was a bit of a wait, and then someone had to go find a screwdriver in the airport. We missed our flight, had to rebook a different flight. My suggestion is to add these latches and the hinge and the lock. If you have a little lock with a key, the customs can open and check the box if they need to without having to unscrew the box. Let's try this if it fits or not. Oh, it does. That's good. Okay. So I'm filling this to the corners and leaving no gaps, but I'm not pressing it down because this material already naturally supports pieces the way it should. So I'm just going to do this and a little bit to the top. I think it's good. So normally I'll hang the lock, but I don't need to right now. This is ready. I just have to add fresh ones of these. I can just come and show it up close. These are gonna be screwed on like these ones because these are old and they're not as safe as they were 2 years ago. And oh, now this is 14 kilos. And then this is more suitable for this little carry-on bag. So I'm going to do that. And more pre-cut bubble wrap. And because I'm just now heading home, I'll just put these to these gaps around. Make sure I pack the tapes and the hinges. And we're done. We're ready to go. Thank you.